Hey everybody, welcome back. Got a new project that I'm starting today. Super excited. The Mirabel Tote from Bagstock Designs. I have been chomping at the bit to get this thing done. I still have to wait on the post office to deliver some liquid vinyl. The good news is that it's just for the crossbody strap, which means I can go ahead and start on the other stuff. And hopefully the post office will figure themselves out so that they get my delivery to me. I am, much like the wallet that I did in the last video, the Necessary Clutch wallet, using the same exact materials. We have cotton that came from Walmart. Very, very pretty butterflies, purple flowers, and the lining fabric. Another purple from Hobby Lobby, and we're using our waterproof canvas, which is from Fabric Wholesale Direct. That is the contrast fabric. And for the hardware, every bit of the hardware for this particular project is from Walwack. Zipper tape, zipper pulls, D-rings, swivel hooks, rivets, everything. Bag feet are also from Walwack. Foam for a stabilizer, not from Walwack. That is Joann's. What I have left of it, not much. And then I also am using the Pro-Fuse from the stiff version of the Pro-Fuse from Walwack. I have already went ahead and done 5 out of the 6 bag feet, just so that I could get that out of the way. And I will go ahead and start off with showing y'all me inserting the bag foot. Very simple process, of course. I used my hole punch to mark, or to punch the hole that I marked based on the pattern, and very simply feed the way that I do it. I think some people actually feed the prongs through the 2 slots on the sides, but I don't do that. I just very simply punch it up through the hole, and then I put that right on top there and fold that open. And yes, I am jumping right into this because I'm super excited to get this one going. Now this is in a corner, so I do kind of do the prongs like that. For the ones that are here and here, I've done those just following the length of the piece. Corners are pointed towards the corner, and I just feel like that is safer. And then, of course, I'm going to cover those prongs with some duct tape. And the duct tape essentially just protects the lining fabric. In this case, it won't even matter because there's going to be foam over it, but normally it would protect the lining fabric from those prongs so it doesn't do any damage. But we're just going to go ahead and put tape over that, smoosh it down. Beautiful thing about duct tape is it sort of stretches so it fits nicely, forms around those prongs. My next step, very simply, I've got to baste some foam onto the bottom piece and the side pieces. I am going to go ahead and get that done. I have not snipped out the corners on these. What I'm going to do is base all the way around, and when I am done, I will snip out those corners and I will show you how that looks. Okay, so I have basted on the foam to the bottom and to the sides, and I have already cut out the corners on that one. It looked like that, and then I just cut it away. I left it like that on purpose because I wanted to make sure that I didn't cut too much or leave too much. this way when I do it, the corner is perfect. So now that that is done, I can move on to the next step, which is the straps. And I am not following the pattern. No, apparently Alexa is listening. So I'm not following the pattern specifically on this. I am doing a double-sided strap, so I will be marking the center line on both of these pieces, and what I've actually done is made this piece just a little bit smaller than the purple piece. And what that will do is give me a hint of the purple on either side when I combine the two. So I'm going to go ahead, mark my lines. I'm going to use double-sided tape, also from Wawak, and I am going to secure that down. I'll do the same thing with this, and then I will actually use more double-sided tape to put them together, and then I will top stitch both sides of the strap so that it becomes one. And I'm going to take care of that, and I'll show you what they look like. Hey everybody, welcome to a new day. I left you yesterday unexpectedly, letting you know that I was going to be starting on sewing up the straps. I did in fact get that done, and unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties, the video footage is non-existent. User error. Helps if you hit the record button when you're supposed to. But nevertheless, I did get the straps done and attached to the top part of the bag for both sides, and I am ready to move on to the pocket. I did also off camera do the exterior front piece of the pocket, and it's because this has been coated with the liquid vinyl. When I got this piece sewn together, I took it over to my ironing board, face down on top of some parchment paper, and ironed this down so that it would stay in its proper shape so that I could do the next step, which of course is going to be the pocket. This is my lining, and of course the ever so popular rainbow zipper. I will be using my handmade zipper pull for this part, and the rest of the zippers, I'm sure you can see that, but the rest of the zippers will be the open loop zipper pull. Speaking of the liquid vinyl, my order finally arrived. I'm not sure how the post office works, but once you reach somebody's local post office, that's supposed to be the last stop before it goes to their home. And for some reason, that didn't happen with this. I want to give a big old shout out to the Quilted Cow, because they are who I got this from. They also sent me a little gift. Super cute. It's a pretty pattern. It's a fat quarter, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but lavender or lilac maybe, with what looks like hashtags, tic-tac-toe, etc. Not sure what I'll use that for just yet. I am sure that I will find something to make with it. So thank you, Quilted Cow, for that, and for getting me the liquid vinyl. This stuff is, I love it. It's you can literally take something that's cotton, give it a protective coating, and it becomes, at the very least, water resistant. So those fabrics that you think are just so adorable, but you know, they don't make it in a vinyl or bonded poly or what have you, liquid vinyl. And heat and bond, whatever sales you get from that. You're welcome. No, truly do think that it's a fantastic product. So we're gonna set that aside. Oh, they sent me a Jolly Rancher too. We'll save that for later. But we're going to set that aside, and we're going to get to work on this pocket. I am, of course, not doing a proper tutorial on this, so I'm not showing you all the nitty-gritty stuff. But I am going to go ahead, get the zipper attached to the lining pocket, and then I'm going to get that attached to the outer pocket. And we are going to sew that all up, and then I will show you what it looks like. The front zipper pocket is now attached and ready for the next step, which is going to be to attach the middle exterior piece. I will sew that, and I will press the seam away like it says to in the pattern. I'll top stitch that, and then I will add the top piece and do the exact same thing. And once I've got that all finished, I will show you what that exterior looks like. I have finished sewing my exteriors together. That's the back panel. This is the front panel. And the next two steps, one, to baste foam to the back, and then fit rivets into the handles. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you what it looks like. My exterior pieces for the front and back are now done. The rivets are set exactly where the pattern told me to do it. And even though there is foam, I went ahead and used a piece of the Profuse Stiff from Wawak behind the foam to help keep the rivet nice and secure. And that is the back. And we're ready to move on to the next step. We're going to move to the interior pockets, and I will not be doing that today. I'm going to call it a night, and I will pick this back up tomorrow. Hey everybody, welcome to day number 3 of making the Mirabel Tote. Where I left off, back panel, front panel. She's looking cute so far. We are up to starting on the interior zipper pocket. I have already made all my markings on my facing. I'm going to attach the zipper to the pocket pieces, and then I am going to place the facing exactly where the pattern tells me to place it, and then I will sew the facing on, flip it inside out, press it so my seams are nice and crisp, and then I will insert the zipper. And once I have done that, I will show you what that looks like. I now have my facing sewn to my lining panel. I have the zipper sewn to the pocket pieces. I have already added double-sided tape for that next step of putting it into the hole. However, I must fit a zipper pull. And if you've never seen this done before, you want to look at which side is higher. And in my case, pardon the threads, this side is higher. So I am going to pull this apart. I'm going to feed on the zipper pull, and I'm going to feed in the other side. And I do not pull very far apart because I always mess it up if I do. So I just got that on there, pushed it down, made sure that that was back where it's supposed to be, and I will move it into the middle, or close to the middle. And when I sew it on, I will very simply move the zipper pull out of the way so that it doesn't end up with wonky stitching. I'm going to go ahead and peel back my double-sided tape and get it into the hole the way that it's supposed to go, and it will be closing to the left like that, going that way. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and fit that, and I'll show you what it looks like. I have sewn around the pocket opening now, so the zipper's been sewn into place. And I left my tails long, and the reason I did that, and the reason I'm still holding on to it, is so that I don't get them mixed up with these other two. These were my starting tails, and I've already pulled that through Now I'm going to pull this one through. And how I do that, handy dandy stiletto, very simply pull up on that bobbin thread and it forms a little loop where it pulls from the other side. And hopefully you can maybe see that. Let's see if I can get that on camera. And not so much. Just a hint of it right there. So anyway, I'm gonna take my little stiletto and I'm gonna stick it through that little hole and pull up. And that pulls that thread from the front to the back. And now that I have all 4 threads from where I started and where I ended, I am going to tie them together. And essentially what that does is it takes away the need to backstitch at the start and makes it just a neater finish. Now, to be honest with you, there's a lot of times where I do backstitch. I didn't feel like it this time. So I'm actually doing double knots. So not just tying it like you would tie your shoes. I'm running it through twice. And then I will snip those threads. And I will hit it with a little file that will basically shrink it down and seal them in. And fire. Doop, doop, doop. And yes, I make that doop, doop, doop sound every single time. So here we go. And you can't really tell, just a tiny little bit. You can see where I started that out. But yeah, I think she looks pretty good so far. All right, we are going to move on to the next step. And the next step is to sew up the sides of this pocket. We are not sewing up the bottom of the pocket. We will be turning this bag through that pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and sew up these sides. Pocket sides are sewn up, and I was very careful to make sure that I folded up that seam allowance for later when we go to turn the bag out and sew up that pocket. And yeah, that's done for now. We can set that one aside. We are going to move on to the interior slip pocket, and we're going to first go ahead and do the trim on the top. Basically just folding this together, wrong sides together, basting it at the top, and then I will draw a line down the center of this, and we'll make basically a binding of sorts so that there's no raw edge. You know, fold in toward the center, fold in half again. I could have used fold over elastic for this. I don't have any dark purple, I only have a light purple, so I opted to use the waterproof canvas. It would give it a nice strong top edge. And I am going to go ahead and get this pocket prepared. I will show you what it looks like before I put it on the bag. I have basted the top of my pocket, and I have marked the center on what I'm making my binding, and I have used double-sided tape and folded almost into that center. See my line there? And the reason that I did not go all the way to the center is because I am going to be folding this in half again. And since this is waterproof canvas, it's a little bit thicker, and I want it to go over the edge nicely and sit evenly on both sides of this pocket. And I'm going to go ahead and clip this into place over my pocket, and I will top stitch. And I might do 2 rows of top stitching. I don't know. I don't have the best of luck with 2 rows, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will show you what it looks like. I did it, y'all. I got 2 rows of top stitching, and it looks good. I didn't mess it up. Usually I end up with wonky stitches. One thing I did notice is I didn't make my binding long enough and didn't quite make it to the edge. But the good news is that that doesn't matter, because it's going to end up being wider than the pattern piece anyway. so it'll have to be cut down. So I did it. I'm super happy about that. That means I can move on to the next step. Now that the interior slip pockets are done, I can set that aside and get on to the next step, which is to get the crossbody strap connectors attached to the bag. And I do not have the same type of connectors that the pattern calls for, so I am not following the pattern for this part. I am making my own crossbody strap connectors, and they will get attached to the side of the bag, and then of course the strap gets hooked onto that using the swivel hooks. I'm going to show you how I did that with this one. I have used a bit of the stiff Pro Fuse from Wellwack to give it extra strength. The cotton is both interfaced and treated with the liquid vinyl. And I'm going to go ahead and pull back this little double-sided tape backing. I'm going to fold these edges into the line that even I can barely see at this point. And fold that in. And this will make a 1-inch connector is what I'm using for my D-ring. And that's that. I am going to top stitch both sides. I'll probably just go all the way around because it's faster than stopping and starting over again. So let's knock that out here real quick. Nope. There we go. 3 sides anyway. And we're going to trim our threads. And we're going to take 2 little pieces of double-sided tape. These are just 2 tiny little pieces to hold those edges down, or help hold them down when I fold them in towards the center. It's actually just off-centered. And the D-ring is going on the side, and you can feel it. The stiff Pro Fuse is only to here, but you can feel the difference. So you want the D-ring on that side to give it strength. So let's pull off that little bit of tape. And I didn't mark the line on this one. I did it for the first one, so I'll just match it up and make sure that they match. Yep, that is perfect. And then take the other side and fold that up underneath as well. And this is how we basically hide our roll edges when we attach this to the bag. We fold them up inside each other. So now I need to mark my position on the side panel and sew them on, and then I will show you what that looks like. Strap connectors are officially attached, and that is of course for both sides. And we are going to go ahead and get the bottom and the sides now attached to each other, and I'll show you what that looks like as soon as I'm done. I do have my pieces pinned, clipped together and ready to be sewn, but the boy must eat, so hang tight. All right, now that the boy is feeding, I am going to go ahead and sew my sides to my bottom, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Went ahead and got my sides attached to the bottom and top stitched after pressing those seam allowances open. Got loose thread there, and so Looks pretty good. And while I was at it, I went ahead and did the lining pieces as well. And what that means is we are actually ready to attach the exterior front, which has the zipper pocket. We're ready to attach that to our gusset. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and once I've got that attached, I'll show you where we're at. I have now gotten both the front and back exterior panels attached. And you might be thinking, but wait, there's a big hole in the bottom. That's not sewn up. Well, that's right. That's the next step. But before that, I actually went ahead and did the exact same thing to the lining. So neither bottoms are sewn yet, but that is coming up next. I'm going to, of course, match up my centers because that's what the pattern tells me to do. And then you kind of box the corners to get them to lay flat, and then you sew it up. The one thing that is important to note is, and this is kind of true for any pattern, with the lining, you always want to make the lining seam allowance just a little bigger so that it fits nice inside the bag. So that is the case for these. I started at the top with the regular seam allowance and increased it by about 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and get these bottoms sewn up for both the exterior and the lining, and then we'll come back. I now have front and back panels attached, bottom panel attached, trimmed all my seam allowances except for at the top so that they'll lay nice and flat. And I also went ahead and did the same with the lining, and I turned that out just so I could get a look at what that's going to look like. There's our zipper pocket, and that's where we're going to turn the bag through. And there are our slip pockets, 2 of them, and it's looking really good so far. I'm going to flip that back inside out. The next step is to do the zipper panel. This bag does have a zipper closure. However, I do have to work tomorrow morning, so I'm going to pause it for the night, and when I come back to this tomorrow, I do believe we will be pretty much finishing up this bag. Can't wait to see how it all comes out, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome to day number 4. I am sort of done with the lining. That comes into play here in a minute. The exterior part is all sewn together, lining sewn together. We are up to the zipper closure. I have my pieces prepped. I do not have the zipper pull attached yet. Once I have sewn my pieces to the zipper, I will then put on that zipper pull. It will just make for a nice even stitching on the zipper. Once we are done making the zipper closure, we will then get that attached to the lining. We will get the lining and the exterior sewn together, and we'll pull it through, and that part, the bag itself, will be done. The crossbody strap has not yet been done. I will be doing a separate short little video showing how I do the crossbody strap. So the reason for that is because I'm going to treat it with the liquid vinyl. I don't want to show you all how I do that. So yeah, I'm going to jump on in here. I'm going to get the zipper attached to the lining and the exterior pieces of the zipper closure. And once I've got all of that sewn together, I will show you what it looks like before I move on to that next step. My zipper panels are connected to the zipper. I have attached the zipper pull, and now I'm going to pull the exterior pieces right sides together, pull the lining pieces right sides together, and somehow perform a magic trick and follow the pattern and make this into a closed zipper panel, so that when it fits into the lining, there's no actual openings at all. It's completely closed. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and once I have turned it into that proper looking panel, I will show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is not at all how it looked when I started that. It is ready to be flipped wrong sides together and basted, and then it will actually be ready to be sewn into the bag. So I'm just going to quickly flip this wrong sides together so I can show you. Actually, let's go this way. It's so good. It looks so good. Seriously. Okay, just for funsies. That looks so good. Never mind that string. It's fine. It just came together so nicely. Perfectly centered on the zipper. Yeah, I'm super happy with how it came out. It seems very daunting when you're trying to read through the pattern, but trust the process because it is absolutely amazing. Look at that. It's really good. So I'm gonna basically just baste my raw edges together, and then we'll just show you again what it looks like before we move on to that next step. It looks good, y'all. I do have the bottom basically of the butterflies facing each other, so that way when it's in the bag the exterior parts are facing up like that. So yeah, I am super happy, and I am going to go ahead and get this fitted into the lining and get that all sewn up, and then I will show you what it looks like. I have the zipper closure completely basted on to the lining, and I am ready to move on to sewing the exterior and the lining together. I have everything clipped and ready to go, and I must say that was interesting because you have the zipper closure, which has got a smaller opening because it's the way it is. It's the zipper only goes so far, but I did manage to get it all clipped together. I'm gonna sew it this way from inside so I can see, I'm gonna be able to see regardless, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sew that up. I'm actually gonna do two. The pattern does not call for this, but I feel like it's gonna be more secure, sturdier. I think that'll make for a very, very nice finish when I turn it out. And yeah, sit tight. I'm gonna sew that up, and then I'll show you what it looks like all sewed. You can watch me turn it out because that's gonna be fun. Got her all sewn together, and it's time to turn her out. This is why the zipper pocket inside was left open. And here we go. We'll see how difficult it is. You really kind of want to do both push and pull. You don't necessarily want to pull because you might rip something. So I try to do a little bit of both. That actually is coming out much easier than I expected it to. Maybe I spoke too soon. There we go. Yeah, she's cute. Inside the pocket, pushing out the corners. We're going to push the lining in. And I am folding in that zipper. I don't even know what to call it. The zipper panel. Zipper closure. And oh yeah, that turned out really. Oh, I got a loose string. Look at that. Gone now. Now I do still. Oh, I did actually do. I guess I got carried away. I did 3 rows of stitching when I actually sewed it together. Just, I don't know, I just wanted it to be perfect and neat and secure, and it seemed like a good idea, so I went with it. I will still have to top stitch this. I'm going to go ahead and get the top stitching done. That was way easier to turn out than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get the top stitching done, and then I will sew up the inside pocket as well, and then I will show you how it turned out. She is finished. There's the front of her, the zipper pocket, and top. We have the zipper pocket inside. On the other side, we have 2 slip pockets, which you really can't see because it's nice and dark in there. I will add some pictures at the end of this video which show her with some good lighting. I still have the crossbody strap to do. I will actually do that in a separate video, which you can watch immediately following this video. I am going to be showing how I do the liquid vinyl when I do that strap. So if you want to stick around and watch the next video, you can see how I make the crossbody strap. And yeah, super happy. I really hope that the recipient loves this as much as I do. And it is the matching bag to go with the necessary clutch wallet that I made in the last video. And I'll have pictures of them at the end of this video as well, showing together. I hope she likes it.